Do you have anything on your mind?
Yeah. Ohio State. Notre Dame. That's it.
I just wanted you to keep going. If you wanted to keep going.
Well, yeah. Fuck no. Oklahoma. They do not deserve to be 6. And Florida. There's no way a 3-loss team should be number 7. They say the championship games can't be held against you. Dude, we've missed a lot in college football. There's a lot been going on.
Yeah, we have. I'm gonna release. Well, we've missed a lot just in between our recordings, but also we missed a lot as in what the public has heard. But I am releasing an X-Files, in this lull we're gonna have because we're not gonna really have anything else to talk about until it gets closer to bowl. I mean, I was really just gonna do a playoff one unless you want to do a whole bowl pod. Not now, I'm saying in the future.
No, I'm good with whatever. Figure we can all day or whole podcast one day talking recruiting and coaching.
Oh yeah. I'm down with that too. That's for sure. But anyways, so another Sunday, another Falcons blown lead. They're currently losing 31-27, almost 4 minutes left in the fourth. We just had the playoff rankings released. How many hours ago? What time is it? 3:57. So almost 3.5 hours ago. Am I doing my math right? 3.5 hours ago, pretty much. But there's a lot going on. There's a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Heisman, playoff rankings, and game reactions from the conference championships, which is what we're going to lead off with. Let's start with the Big 12, Chris, because I like what you said, that you don't like Oklahoma being ranked 6th. Is that correct?
Yeah, they flopped.
Yeah, and what was Iowa State? Yeah, Iowa State's ranking was 6th. And what did we say in our previous episode? What did I say? Which I stole it from somebody else. But Iowa State was ranked 6th as a prop for Oklahoma to possibly make a case of getting into the playoff from the Big 12.
You did say that.
So, I mean, we were right. That's why they're ranked 6th. Don't be mad that we're right, Chris.
They hate us because they ain't us.
True that. Did you watch that game?
No.
I didn't watch that game.
I had to work yesterday. I did listen to it though, on the radio. And it seemed like an entertaining game.
Yeah, it was a pretty close game, wasn't it? It was a 1-score game.
Yeah, and Oklahoma almost blew that lead towards the end.
Oh, so they pretty much held. Yeah, they were holding the lead the whole time. Correct.
Yeah, and they came out of the gun and scored on their first drive in like a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, and after that, it was pretty much game.
Yeah, I think if they would have blown the doors off of Iowa State, it would have been more of a conversation of possibly sliding Oklahoma in, but that didn't happen. So I think that's why they didn't do that. But it was just a prop. So per se, that were to happen, they have an argument to get in. Ohio State, Northwestern. Ohio State 22, Northwestern 10. The passing game sucked. And Trey Sermon was preaching out there. He was preaching brimstone and fire, hell, brimstone and fire out there on that Northwestern defense. He had 250 yards?
No, he broke 300. He set the record.
Crap.
Yeah, and crazy is Ohio State only had like 60 some odd yards the first half rushing, and they came out and had like 270 in the second half.
Yeah, so I was watching that game off and on, and when they weren't having success in the first half, the announcers, they were kind of boasting the fact that Northwestern is ranked sixth in the nation, I believe, in rushing defense. So it made sense why Ohio State couldn't run on them, but they just couldn't pass on them either. So, uh, yeah, so that's why it made for a really crappy first half.
Yeah, and the thing is, Northwestern's offense didn't even show up to play.
Oh, Patrick Ramsey sucks, bro. Like, that's the second time. The first time I watched Patrick Ramsey, I was impressed by him. They still lost. I think it was the first time they played each other. Didn't they play each other already this year? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Northwestern
so I was
or no?
do what? No, Ohio State won.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I was impressed with some of the plays that Patrick Ramsey uh was able to pull off. But at the end, you could tell watching that you can't beat Ohio State with Patrick Ramsey, and that definitely showed in the conference championship because he was poopy poop butt soup.
What was that comic book? Captain Underpants. Did you ever read that?
Oh, dude, I love Captain Underpants.
Start referring to him as Captain Underpants from here on out.
Dude, don't defame Captain Underpants like that, bro. Don't associate him. Captain Underpants is way better than Patrick Ramsey.
It was definitely always a top seller at our Scholastic Book Fair. Between that and the crazy looking erasers, those would be the hot items at our elementary school.
I feel like is that back when Junie B. Jones was still hot too, bro? Because like I feel like the girls were getting Junie B. Jones, and
yeah.
I was getting Captain Underpants.
Shoot, I'm not gonna lie, I read Jenny B. Jones. I still remember the opening line. My name is Jenny B. Jones. The B stands for Beatrice, but you can call me Jenny B.
Ohio State 22-10. Do you have any takeaways?
They're gonna be out the first round. Their offense isn't that explosive.
So you think they're gonna lose to Clemson pretty easily, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a good game the first half, like it always is. But I think I could see it being a 3-score game.
Okay, I'm really impressed with Ohio State's running game. It kind of reminds me of Ezekiel Elliott when he was starting to turn on at the back end of his junior year, his last year at Ohio State. So I think they can have a lot of success, but we'll get more into that. We can get more into that later on, but in a different episode. But yeah, my takeaway: Northwestern just can't hold a candle to Ohio State. They beat them in talent flat out. Like they're filled with 5 stars, 4 stars. Northwestern may have a few 4 stars. I don't even know, but it was pretty obvious in that game to me, just size wise, looking at them on the field. And then it came out talent wise, but
they had too many Reese Davises out there on the field.
Yeah, exactly. Or Mike Greenberg's, whichever way you want to go with it. But yeah, we'll move on because we'll get into the playoff rankings. But Clemson, Notre Dame, that game surprised me. Because I mean, Clemson's defense really looked suspect the first go around. So I wasn't really concerned about the whole Clemson was using their freshman backup QB. I didn't really care about that because he had a great performance. It was more of their defense, but they held it down and made Ian Book and Notre Dame. They exposed them, showed them for what they truly are, their true colors.
Well, also their first game, I'm pretty sure they were missing like 5 key starters on the defense. Clemson was.
Yeah, they were.
Their secondary, a leader from their secondary, a leader from their line, and a leader from their linebacker core, plus 2 others.
Yeah, so they definitely were depleted in that. So yeah, I mean, it surprised me, but it shouldn't have surprised me. I don't think it surprised you. I don't think it surprised a lot of people out there.
No, when it comes to those games, Notre Dame just year in and year out, they cannot perform when it comes
Yeah,
to the stage.
no, you're exactly right about it. Brian Kelly folds. He's a folder. It's a laundry boy out here. Abercrombie and Fitch associate. So let's get to the game, the best game of the weekend. Alabama, Florida. 52-46. Chris, go ahead.
I mean, nothing really surprised me on the offensive front. I mean, the Alabama front, when it comes to offense, what would concern me, though, if I was an Alabama fan or cheering for Alabama, is the fact that they allowed a semi comeback. I mean, I knew Kyle Trask was good, and I knew he was potentially the Heisman winner, but I didn't think that being down that deficit they'd be able to muster a comeback. I don't know. I fell asleep in the second half because I kind of zoned out the game because it's such a lead, and then I wake up, the game's over, and the score's closer than I thought.
Yeah, so the game's 35-17 going into the half, and then Florida comes out and they score 14 unanswered points. Alabama had 0 points in that third quarter, which is a huge shot because Alabama, like you said, consistently all year, they've been a huge second half team. So it was weird to see them get shut out in the third quarter. They were able to outscore Florida by 2 points in the fourth quarter, but they got some key turnovers, key penalties, different things like that going on in the game. So, and Alabama was able to prevail. Florida's success on offense did not surprise me because Kyle Trask has great reason to be in the Heisman conversation. Any other year, he would be a Heisman winner, no doubt. I don't think he's going to be Heisman winner this year, but I knew he was going to be able to expose Alabama's secondary, which has improved a lot, but it's still young. And, and it's hard. It's like playing defense is so much harder nowadays than it was a decade ago in college football and in the NFL, but especially in college football, the way the game has changed. So when you have an elite offense like Florida has, you're not going to clamp them down. But yeah, 46 points is kind of surprising to me. But guys like Tony, his speed, he was able to expose Alabama, and Pitts made big plays too. So yeah, but roll Tide.
Talent-wise, Florida's not that far behind Alabama.
No, they're not.
Position where I think Alabama truly won the game was the offensive line. I mean, without that offensive line, bye, that mom.
Yeah,
bye, mom. But without that offensive line, I think Florida would have won that game.
Oh, dude, for sure, bro. That Florida, that whole team is just built different. And when I say built different, I mean they're elite. When I was saying earlier about Northwestern, Ohio State, you could just see the difference, not only just in the talent, but the size. Those are just two different classes of football players. And Florida is in that class, along with a Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson. They got athletes, and they got a lot of speed. And Florida's always built their recruiting around going after the speed guys. So, they're not just fast they're not just big and strong, but they're also fast. So, but our offensive line was able to prevail. Us losing Landon Dickerson is huge for the future or for the rest of the game. But, our running game, offensive line, we were able to net positive yardage way more than negative yards, which really we didn't lose many yards, take a lot of big plays away. So, yeah, I mean, Florida was just really successful. We were just more successful on the end.
Yeah, and the way they approached that game was the same way they've approached every game. They dink and dunk down the field. I don't know, like they don't have those big explosive plays as often as Alabama does, but
Yeah,
they do have 7 yard like running back Tony like tosses, and that I don't know. I'm trying to find a good comparison because Florida is definitely as talented on the offensive side as Alabama, but you can have a nice car sitting in your garage, but if all the parts aren't installed, you really
yeah,
don't have.
yeah. With You're right about that. They did stretch the ball out a little bit more that game, I would say, than they have the rest of the year, which is what you got to do against Alabama. Alabama, where they separate themselves from everyone else, when it comes to these types of games that are really close, they usually commit less penalties, um, so they don't take away yards from themselves, and also they don't commit the turnovers, or they force more turnovers than they give up. And then also it's the big plays. They get those 1, 2, 3, 4 home run plays that swings momentum, or something like that are just big game shifters. So but Florida was able to hit on some of those home run plays, but they did it with their speed. So Tony could run a short post or type of route like that, and then just break away if he's found in space.
Yeah, and shoot, I was gonna say something. I lost it. It'll come back to me.
Well, Najee Harris went off. He had 5 touchdowns.
Heisman winner.
So, yeah, you got him winning the Heisman. Are you still holding on to that? You texted me that last night, which I'm okay with him winning the Heisman. That was my preseason prediction. I've been saying it for over a year now, that he's going to win 2021 Heisman Trophy. But you have him deserving of it?
After last night, definitely. What do you have? 5 TDs, 100
Yeah,
and some odd, 170 some odd rushing yards. That's showing up when the game comes calling.
yeah. And 2 or 3 of them were receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, I think 3 of them are receiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, you could just put the Heisman Trophy in the Alabama locker room this year. Just walk away from it, not even have a ceremony or nothing.
Exactly. I think they should just call all 3 of them to the podium and give all 3 the Heisman Trophy.
Just let them do a rock challenge or something.
See what challenge?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. Or maybe an Oklahoma drill.
Ooh, definitely interested to see that. Although Mac Jones would need to have like a ghost runner or something.
Yeah, for sure. We'll just let Najee and Devontae. We'll let Mac have the bye, and he'll have to face the winner out of Najee and Devontae, because he's definitely not winning. It's whoever's going to win out of those 2. So speaking of Heisman, according to Sporting News, as of today, Sunday, Devontae Smith, when it comes to Heisman favorites, he is most highly favored at -170. And then you got Mac Jones +170. Trask and Lawrence are tied for +1900, and Najee Harris +2400.
I think you can take Trevor Lawrence out of that conversation. It's 3 Alabama players standing on that stage. They're going to finish 1, 2, and 3, I think.
I can't remember who was spewing this nonsense, but I think it was Booger. I think Booger McFarland was giving the Heisman Trophy to Trevor Lawrence this morning.
Yeah, but when you listen to Booger, you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Yes, this is true. He was just pointing out the obvious that, Trevor Lawrence, Clemson lost when Trevor Lawrence wasn't there. So, yeah.
Well, if that's the argument he wants to make, Georgia lost when JT Daniels wasn't there.
Yeah. I like that. So yeah, give JT Daniels the Heisman, man.
I'm calling it 2021.
Bet. We'll bet on that preseason. So playoff rankings came out today. Oh, why am I jumping? Devontae Smith is the GOAT though. He's broken like every record now. So is Najee. I can't remember their records right now. Not gonna look them up, but yeah, he's gonna win the Heisman. Devontae Smith for Heisman official. Devontae Smith for Heisman podcast. No matter what Chris says. So yeah, he's gonna walk away with the trophy, and deservingly so, because he only had one touchdown, but he had 15 receptions, which he only net a total of 185 yards. He didn't even break 200 yards with that many receptions, but he had a lot of key receptions and we were having to play dink and dunk too at times. We were having a hard time getting separated in the backfield of the defense.
Yeah, and Florida has they're leading the SEC with sacks too, so their defensive front's pretty scary. So
yeah, so that pressure, Mac Jones was receiving a lot of pressure, so he's having to get rid of the ball quick. And what's crazy is how we drew up, I was impressed of how Steve Sarkisian drew up that whole first drive, the opening drive for us, because we were playing max protect pretty much that whole drive. We were still throwing it the majority of the time, I believe, if my memory serves me correct. But on 2 or 3 plays, I'm pretty sure we only had 2 routes. Like they were full out passing plays, but we were playing max protect. So only Devontae Smith and like a Slade Bolden or Jaleel Billingsley were going out to receive. And that's why you got to give Devontae Smith, in my opinion, the Heisman too, because of what he was able to prove that last night of how great he is. Pretty much just finding the quarterback. Like, he doesn't wait till Mac Jones finds him, which a lot of times, Mac Jones is finding him, but he's going to go find the quarterback himself, and he gets himself into open spaces. He's really good at route running or improvising after his route's finished or once the play's broken down.
Yeah, I agree. Steve Sarkisian drew up a great game. He definitely wasn't doing that when he was over here in Atlanta with the Falcons.
Yeah, it's just different with the NFL. And you can't run that type of offense that he wants to run with Atlanta. I don't think he could.
No, he couldn't. But I saw a lot of flack for him on my Twitter page.
Oh, that flack was coming from me too, and I didn't want Steve Sarkisian back. I do owe Steve Sarkisian an apology because I was glad when he left and went to Atlanta. I was glad and mad because I was happy he was getting away from Alabama, but I was mad that he was going to my favorite NFL team, and I knew he was going to suck. But once he came back to Alabama the following year or two, I was pissed off again. But he's done great. Hats off to him.
Yeah, keep my hat on.
Speaking of Sarkisian, he took I think it's today. He interviewed with Auburn.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they not going to go with who's their defensive coordinator? Kevin Steele?
Well, he's in the conversation now. They may, and I think we're all hoping, because I really don't think Steve Sarkisian is going to do that, man. Like, he rehabbed at Alabama. He's not going to go to the opposing team. And I don't think he wants to have to recruit against that either. So I think he just kind of took it out of the kindness of his heart. He entertaining it. And also, too, we learned in college, never turn down an interview, whether you want the job or not, because it's good practice either way.
Yeah. And what happened is, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but what's really going to happen is Auburn's just going to find a placeholder until Lane Kiffin comes over in about 3 or 4 years, takes over that Auburn team.
Bro, if he does that, Lane Kiffin might have to get poisoned, bro. I mean, we might have to find another Harvey Updike. We're not going for trees this time. We're going straight for your head coach.
Well, if that does happen, Kiffin needs to reach out to Biden and figure out what food tester he has. Get one of his physical. So Biden's going to need the same thing. And you can delete this because it's political, but.
Well, I was going to say we need to poison the toilet supply. And I'm sure you can die by, wiping some poison on your beehole and your anus sucking in that poison.
You watched The League? Have you seen The League?
I've seen The League.
They should just put cocaine on the seats or in the seats, like they did in The League.
Oh.
And then pop up a random drug test.
I haven't seen that episode.
It was like season 2 or 3. Taco had to hide his stash.
Nice. Well, earlier today, we'll get close to closing it out. You put on social media, you're putting an asterisk on the 2020 season. Chris Wesley has officially put his asterisk on the 2020 season. I believe it's probably due to the playoff rankings that came out this morning, which has Bama 1, Clemson 2, Ohio State 3, Notre Dame 4, and the list goes on. We kind of already talked about it. So why are you putting the asterisk on it? Is it because of the Oklahoma incident? Or is it because Notre Dame is in the top 4?
It's honestly, I mean, I think you told me from the get-go, this is like, you were talking about Braves baseball, and you were saying, I hope they don't win it because it's going to be an asterisk season. And that rolls over into college football because for me this morning when I saw who 3, 4, and 6 were, I knew then that this season was trash.
Okay, yeah, but it doesn't matter. The 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, well, 3, 4 matters. 5, 6 does not matter.
Matters to some people.
No, okay. As much as I hate Ohio State and do not want them in these playoffs, and I will make the argument that they do not deserve to be in, I know in my heart of hearts, though, at the end of the day, Ohio State would probably be in those playoffs if this wasn't an asterisk season or a crazy season. Because I think they're pretty good, and they probably come in as a 3 or 4 seed because they probably would suffer a loss in the Big Ten or out of conference game somewhere. But I still believe they're winning that conference and making it in. So
the thing is,
because of that, I can't disagree because I think we at least have 1 through 3 right. We have the top 3 best teams in these playoffs.
See, I disagree because which given a full season, Ohio State probably would be in. But Ohio State was handed that 3rd spot because
yeah, no doubt
they shouldn't have even been in the conference game.
Yeah,
it shouldn't have been that conference championship. It should have been someone else, and they just had to bend to them and be like, you know what, never mind, we're going to change the rules. That's what gets me most irritated. It's just all these conferences are doing. They're picking one child out of all their 10, 12, 14, whatever it is, and they're just like, here, we're going to throw all our support and weight behind you just so we can get a little money. It's selfish is what it is.
Yeah, the Big Ten is the Big Ten's full of shit because they keep changing their guidelines now, their protocols. And we knew they were going to do this when they released these bullshit protocols too, when they were finally like, oh, I guess we will play 6, 7 games. That'll do. Oh, if you get tested positive for COVID, oh no, we're not going to put you in a 14-day quarantine. We're going to put you in a 21-day quarantine. If you want to, play in our conference championship game this year, you're going to have to, play at least 6 games. Yeah. So, yeah, it was full of shit, bro. So, fuck them. But at the end of the day, free smoke. Anybody want it, they can get it, no joke. Everybody's saying we want Bama. And then come on. Like, we're about to rail Notre Dame, a 3rd asshole. And
playing Notre Dame. Notre Dame should be out. Texas A&M, y'all are playing.
Well, see, we're still blowing out Texas A&M too, bro. So it doesn't matter.
Still, but
Texas A&M cannot compete with us.
I heard last night in the Notre Dame Clemson game, the announcers were talking. It's like some crazy percentage, like 80 some odd % of teams that face each other twice in a year. The team that lost the first go around lost or wins the second matchup. Which I'm not saying that would happen, but I kind of agree with Jimbo here that they got screwed.
Like, no, fuck them. Fuck Jimbo. Fuck Texas A&M. Fuck them. The Aggies.
Y'all got lucky y'all didn't have to play Coastal Carolina.
You're right. That's what I was really clenching my beehole about the whole night last night. I was so nervous that they'd slide Coastal Carolina in at 4th to play us. FOH, bro. FOH. Roll Tide. We got 3 Heisman winners on our team, bro. Ain't no other team ever had 3 Heisman winners on the same team in the same year, bro.
Ammo's getting expensive, but I can spare a few rounds for a few Alabama players. I'm going to be the opposite of Harvey Updike. Call me Charvy Downdyke.
Downdyke? What does that mean?
Oh, isn't his name Updike?
Yeah.
I'll just be his.
Oh, you'll be. What about upside?
Yeah, his
Downdyke.
Down straight girl.
Yeah. Harvey High Dyke.
Yeah, but and I mean, I am upset Georgia's not in there, but hey, Georgia has to win games in order to be in there. But either way, there's going to be an asterisk on the season regardless. Not necessarily who's most deserving, but it's going to be an asterisk on the season just to like note that COVID happened and teams like Ohio State played 5 patty cake teams and made it to the playoffs. Notre Dame got sodomized.
I'll tell you this. If Ohio State wins the national championship, I'll agree with you. I'll put an asterisk on it.
Well, that's
the only way I'm putting one on it.
I'm gonna put one on anyway, even just for the situation of the season.
I think you're just salty.
I am salty.
Yeah.
Very salty.
Like a true Georgia fan. All right. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else on your mind, your heart that you want to say before we close this out?
No. I did want to ask you though. I guess we could talk about another time. But how'd you feel? I guess that was last weekend when Arkansas tried to rip the legs off of Devontae Smith. Did you see that play?
Yeah. I had to see it on replay. I wasn't watching at that time when it happened, or I might have been watching. But yeah, bro. Like we sent the shooters to your lobby. We coming after you. If he really hurt him, that would have happened.
I guess I'm gonna have to send a Venmo request to what's his name because he didn't do the job right.
Have you seen that video from when Tua? It's the same team too. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's when they played Arkansas and Tua had the bad knee. This was early in the season, but he was coming off surgery, whatever, and dude goes after his knees or whatever, or looks like he's going after his knees because Tua's lined up as a wide receiver. And dude makes a video. He was like, if you ever do that again, he was like, if you do that to Tua, he said, I'm going to send 2 of my cousins down and they're going to like blow 2 of your feet or something like that. I can't remember, but yeah, it reminded me of that video.
What do you make of an expansion in the college playoffs?
Yeah, they need to have a power. They need to have a non-Power 5 division. Or are you talking about expansion of like going to 6 teams or 8 teams?
Yeah. not necessarily separate playoffs, but just expanding the number of teams. I think I've been thinking about this. I think the best way to do it would be an automatic bid for Power 5 conference champs, and then you get 3 wild cards, which would include, in this season, for instance, it would include teams like Coastal and or Cincinnati, and then say probably the runner-up of the SEC, because that's probably one of the top five to six teams or top 5 to 6 team in the nation. And then you'll probably have another Big Ten team in there. But I think 4 after this season. I think 4 is just going to be outdated. I'm tired of seeing the same 4 teams, same 5 or 6 teams.
Yeah, I get that. I'm kind of with that too. I don't know. I'm not necessarily against the 8-team playoff. I think at the end of the day, though, we really know there's a big drop off. Between, there's always a huge drop off between the 4th team that gets into these playoffs every year, it seems like. Except for like your Georgia, Oklahoma that year when that was a big shootout, and some other games like that. Most of the time, they've been blowouts, nothing really to watch. So I don't know. I'm more with just let the Power 5, the non-Power 5 conferences like do their own playoff or something, or have their own playing game for a seed. I don't know.
It's almost like an NCAA March Madness and a NIT March Madness.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I even think expanding it to 5 or 6 teams would be all right.
I'm okay if we did 6 teams and then you let the 1 and 2 have the automatic bid to the championship and let 3 play 6 and 4 play 5.
I think that'd be a better slate of games too.
Yeah, I think so too, because those would just be boring if you had the number 1 team playing the number 8 team and then the number 2 team playing the number 7 team. I don't think those are really competitions most years. Like if you expanded it to an 8-team playoff.
Yeah, I think most years 1 through 6 would be good games, and then you hit 7 and 8, and it'd be definitely the drop off. I think the top 6 are a lot, maybe not closer, but more competitive if they were to play.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Herb Street was talking about a 12-game.
12-game or 12-team playoff?
Yeah.
Nah, get that out of here.
You might as well cancel all the conference championships at that point.
And cancel all the bowl games.
Yeah, you'd need another whole 2 months to do that.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would just have to cut the season to like a 10-game season.
Let's just make it a round robin. Like, let's do it like baseball tournaments. Let's do a round robin.
Double elimination.
Yep. And then if you eliminated it in your second week of playing your regular season, then you just go find some other teams you want to play.
That's when you can go play against Division I AA teams.
I would like to see someone like Florida or Georgia play Kennesaw State. Be an interesting game.
No.
Yeah, it would.
I don't think so.
Kennesaw State would be walking away with that fat paycheck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're walking away the winner in the financial department, but not on the field.
Oh, they wouldn't be walking away off the field at all.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Gurneys.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us.
Yeah, I think so too. We're going to hit all the bowl games another time.
Yeah, we can do that next week if you want.
All right.
All right, man. Well, appreciate you, bro. You take it easy.
You too, man.